It's Thursday the 14th of September and this is KD56UZS. Car's come in to replace the turbo because it's burning oil. But the car's got a misfire. We weren't expecting that, but when we dip the oil, we're finding that the oil is way too high. So there's oil all the way up here. You can certainly see it there. Dip it again, let's do it again. There's massive amounts of oil in this engine for some reason. Right, it's certainly wet there. There should be maximum there. There's certainly over the minimum. And the maximum, sorry. Okay, so what we're going to do now is drain the oil and measure how much comes out. Right, so this should have 4.2 litres of oil in. This is clearly more than that. And it's still coming out. The car has been way overly filled with oil, and that could have damaged the engine. What we're going to do is we're going to decant this oil into this drum, which is empty, and count how many litres. So that's 1 litre, the blue line. We're going to fill 1 litre at a time in there and count them into there to see how many litres of oil we've got. Right, so we've measured 11.8 litres of oil, which is now in there, using the measuring jug. 11.8 litres is 4 times the amount it should be. It should be 4 litres. That's practically 12 litres. Now, my worry now is that the pistons will have come down into the oil, which is too high. Oil would have been pressurized up the side of the bores and probably broken the piston rings because of the oil pressure. You can't compress a liquid, it will have had to go somewhere, and I think that's our problem now. Right, to assess the damage, if there is any damage, we're going to do a compression test. This is a compression tester now on cylinder 1. Please crank. That's really good compression on cylinder 1. This is cylinder 2, please. Okay, so it's really good compression on cylinder 2. Cylinder 3, please. Okay, cylinder 3 is good. This is cylinder 4, yes please. Okay. Compression's good. So what we found so far is the compression's good on all cylinders, and that's really encouraging. There are 3 piston rings on each piston. The bottom one is the oil ring, and if the oil ring's damaged, oil will be passing through past the other piston rings. The 2 compression rings don't stop the oil, that's for compression. The bottom one stops the oil. If they're broken, then we'll be passing excessive oil into the chambers, and that could be a reason for a misfire. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the oil filter. So change this here now, refill it with fresh oil, the correct amount, and see where we are. So I've just put a new filter on and 4 litres of oil in. These are the spark plugs that came out. You see this one is kind of grey, that one's black, that's grey, and that one's black. The black I fear is oil that's coming into the combustion chamber, which would indicate we've got a problem with the oil rings. But we'll put them back in, let's start the car. So I'm just going to dip the oil, so we've got a nice dry dipstick, and just send it down, bring it back. You can see it's wet, but it's only wet up to that nodule. So we've got 4 litres of oil in there, and that's where we're at. Right, I'm going to start the car and see what we find. That does sound better than it was when it came in anyway. I want to diagnose it. So we've cleared all the faults. The faults mainly were misfires, and when the misfiring happens, fuel ejector cuts off. It's still not that smooth, and I'm not convinced there's no damage due to the excessive oil, but I think we'll go ahead and change the turbo as we said we're going to do, and then move on from there. So I've just done a diagnostic request. We've got a significant number of misfires on cylinder 3. I'm just going to move some coil packs around and see if we can isolate where that fault is. So I put coil pack 3 into 2 and coil pack 2 into 3, and we still have the misfires on number 3. So I'm going to swap the spark plugs now and see if the fault changes with it. Okay, I've now moved the spark plug from 3 to 2, and that's really good news because the fault has followed. So I'll replace that spark plug and we should get rid of that misfire. So I've replaced spark plug number 3, and now no misfires. The engine's a lot smoother, and I'm a lot happier now that the engine is, well, I can't be absolutely certain the oil rings aren't damaged, but the engine's running smoothly.